Thank you all, and I want to congratulate you all on taking leadership positions for your association and for your campuses, or campi. I didn't major in Latin. Your schools, that's what. Let's say I just went to my 40th high school reunion, and a few things have changed. You're in a different world, and when you're my age, the world will probably be more different from what it is now than it was 40 years ago. But in the meantime, the issues that you are rightfully concerned about are the issues of the affordability of college. And I've been going around the last few days. I've been in the University of Minnesota, the Twin Cities campus, University of Minnesota Rochester, and up at UMD Duluth. Now, all those are part of the university system, and all the university system adopted in 1995 direct lending. Right now, there's a program called FFEL, and some of you may get your loans through FFEL, which is a way of basically getting loans through banks, which are subsidized by the taxpayers in the United States government, because what we do is we guarantee the loans, and to 97%. And I want to get rid of that program. And I want all lending, all the lending that's now through the FFEL done in a streamlined way through direct lending, like the University of Minnesota system does it. And that will save $87 billion for the taxpayers. And instead of that money going to bankers, I'd like that money to go to you. Now, it wouldn't be just you in this room, so don't get too excited. Yeah. Oh, damn, I thought I was made for life. You will, if you're on a Pell Grant now, your Pell Grant will go up. We'll spend about $40 billion of the $87 billion increasing Pell Grants. Pell Grants are very important in my wife's family, and therefore my family. When my wife was 17 months old, she lost her dad, and her mom was widowed at age 29 with 5 kids, and she had a high school education. And they made it with Social Security survivor benefits, but they had, they barely made it, but they made it. And they had, my mother-in-law has 5 kids, 1 boy and 4 girls. The boy went into Coast Guard, became an electrical engineer in the Coast Guard. And all the girls went to school, including my wife, went to college. And they made it through combinations of scholarships and Pell Grants. And at that time, a full Pell Grant paid for 77% of a public college education. Yeah. Yikes. Wow. Now a full Pell Grant pays for about 33%. So $40 billion of this, we want to increase Pell Grants so that we get that percentage up. So it makes it easier for low-income students to go to school. Now, what I've been doing when I've been going around to different colleges is just hearing the stories. And hearing stories about how each student is paying for college and how much, yeah, I thought you heard paying for college and started to retch. And there's a reason for the retching sound of paying for college, because so many of you, how many here are going to have loans when you not going to have loans. Wow, hey, that's nice, nice. Now what is that? Is that full scholarships, or is it good parent, well-to-do parents? Yeah, you guys, out of pocket. So you made some money beforehand, and so, okay. But you saw the percentage there. And that's very reflective of students, not just in Minnesota, but all over the country. And so we're also going to be increasing the number of loans to low-income kids, low and middle-income kids to put through Perkins loans, which have a smaller interest rate, lower interest rate. And we're going to be doing some other things too with this money. We're going to do preschool stuff and help community colleges increase their graduation rate. There's a number of things we're going to be doing. But this is only a small part, really, of keeping the cost of college down. And I hope we can discuss some of that. One of the reasons that the price of college is so high is I was down at MSU Mankato last year, and I did a roundtable with about 9 students and the chief financial officer of the school. And I heard some stories that they sound all too familiar to you, of students who are working either full-time or almost full-time while going to school, which isn't really the best way to go to school, okay. And will still graduate with debt. I talked to one student who's working full-time and is giving his blood plasma twice a week. I see some nodding. And that doesn't seem to me, I think there's nothing wrong with giving blood plasma, don't get me wrong, but not twice a week, so you can pay for some books. And that's another thing we'll probably be talking about, or I'd like to talk about, textbooks, and being able to find better ways to ease the burden on students on textbooks. So, you're in a really amazing part of your life. And I want you to be able to go to school and become whatever you want to become. And not be locked into a career path because of financial considerations. My brother was the first in our family to go to college. My dad didn't graduate high school. My brother went to St. Louis Park and got into MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was quite an achievement. He graduated with a degree in physics. And upon graduation, informed my parents that he wanted to be a photographer. I followed him. I got into Harvard. I went to Harvard about a year into school. I told my parents that I planned to be a comedian. You have to understand, my parents are Jews. This was absolute tragedy. But my brother's a great photographer. He's still a great photographer. He's gotten covers of Newsweek and Time and traveled the world and he's had a great career. And I'm glad I went into comedy. And now I'm in a different job. And my job now is to, as Paul Wellstone said, the job in politics, it isn't about winning, it isn't about power, it's about improving people's lives. And we have so many challenges that we have to face, and you know what they are. But we've had challenges before in this country, and we've overcome them. And the kids that I've met, the students that I've met, some of them aren't kids, some of them are men and women that are veterans who've been to war, benefiting from the GI Bill. I don't want you limited by anything. And to be limited by financial factors is just wrong and dumb and not going to help America. So, I guess I'm ready to answer some questions. Thanks.
Senator Franken, thanks so much for being here. We've got a couple of prepared questions. We'll see what we have time for. These are some questions that we know students are wondering. So our first question is, what steps do you think the federal government can take to help control the cost of textbooks for students?
Okay, well, that's one thing. There are a number of things. I was talking up at UMD yesterday. No, wait, this is at Rochester, that's right. I think they have a library. This is at the university, the new university back there. So it's by the university system, so it's not, sorry. But some of them have gone first, is it RCTC? Yeah, they had gone there and said great things about it. One of them was talking about a school that she'd gone to, I'm not sure if it's about, but where they have a library with all the textbooks. And you get charged for taking the textbook out for the year, but you don't get charged anything in the cost of the textbook. And at the end of the year, you return it. That seems to make some sense. Another thing that we're trying to do is put books online. And books online makes tremendous sense to me. And it's interesting because there are a lot of textbook authors who are totally willing to say, yeah, put my book online. And there are publishers who are willing to do that, but there are also people that have written textbooks in different fields who are willing to write a new textbook and put it online. This is several $100s a year, and it's a significant amount of money for students. So I'm for online courses. I think there's nothing that beats the experience of being in college. And I'm not a terribly big fan of, going to college in your parents' basement. But there is something to be said for a certain amount of your schoolwork being able to be done online, and especially when it comes to this issue of textbooks.
All right, thank you. Our second question is...
Oh, also, can I want to say one thing? I like teachers I like professors who don't use textbooks, frankly. I like courses that have their own material. It depends on the course. If you're taking a basic chemistry course or something like that, of course there's going to be a textbook, but yeah, go ahead.
All right, I know this is a hot topic for a specific group of students, but our second question is, what are your thoughts on the current delays some veterans are seeing in the processing of their educational benefits?
Yeah, those delays are unacceptable, just unacceptable. But in defense of the VA, this was implemented pretty fast. This basically providing, this is a great bill. I was up in Duluth yesterday, meeting with about 10 students again. And one of them was, a couple of them were military veterans. But one was this UMD, a guy from, I'd say 27 years old, and had been in the military, I think 8 years. And he got out of school, and he said there was no way he could pay for college, and the next day, there was, and the bill had passed. And he asked me to thank Jim Webb of Virginia for passing that bill. And I'm going to, because this guy wouldn't have been going, and he said, he was looking for jobs, And people said, what do you know how to do? And he knew how to be a gunner in a tank. And he said, I knew how to kick down doors. Now, I think actually in the military you learn a lot more than that, and I think he was being a little self-deprecating. But this is a great thing. So I think that the VA has basically said they're cutting checks for $3,000 to everybody who didn't get their check. Just to, in emergency payments. And they're doing that by, they're supposed to do that by October 1st. And if you have any problem with this, you can go to your VA office, regional office, there's one in St. Paul. You can go to the VA website, do this online. But please do not hesitate to call our office. That's one of the things I'm supposed to do. It's like my job. To organize an office. This is Amy Hang, and she's I have a great staff. I'm very proud of my staff, and we would be very, very honored to help you with any problems you have regarding that.
Or your staff is telling me that's all we have time for, but thank you so much for coming. We're very honored to have you.
She's terrible. She cuts me off all the time. I got a lot of events today, and I apologize. Every event I do, I want to stay longer. For what it's worth, I'm going to be visiting some senior citizens, so I should go. They have less time than you.